I have to say that it is very interesting. In the last week or so, we've had Blizzard reveal Diablo 4, and they also revealed some new information on Overwatch 2, although still no idea what's going on with PvE. I guess we'll find out next year, supposedly. No more loot boxes, though. Yay, I suppose. Go Battle Pass? I don't know. But what's interesting about those two game reveals is that immediately the developers talked monetization. I wonder why that topic came up immediately and why they tried to dismiss those concerns so fast. And obviously the answer is Diablo Immortal and the disaster that is currently surrounding that game and Blizzard right now. It is very interesting that we can't get an actual response from Blizzard about the game's monetization. We can get kind of these indirect answers, which is, yeah, Blizzard knows it's really bad, but they're not going to do anything about it because they're bringing in the money from it, which again was the goal of this pay-to-win mobile experience from the get-go. So, to answer the headline of this Forbes article coming from Paul Tassi, can we trust Blizzard with Diablo 4 after Diablo Immortal? And the answer is simply no. And it's not just because of Diablo Immortal, it's because of Warcraft 3 Reforged, it's because of Diablo 2 Resurrection and how that game launched, and it's just a boatload of other issues, not to mention the misconduct allegations and everything that has been happening with Blizzard over the last decade. Even Diablo 3, that had a lot of issues as well, not brought up as much these days just because of all the other stuff that's been going on with Blizzard. Oh yeah, there's also the Blitzchung controversies. Like I said, just so much has been happening with this company the last couple of years, not to mention also the executives, all the creative people that have left. So again, back to that headline, can we trust Blizzard with Diablo 4 after Diablo Immortal? And the answer is a resounding no. And at this point in this gaming industry's life, there's just zero reason to trust any developer these days, any AAA gaming company. A lot of them have had great track records and then ended up in absolute disaster. We talked about that with BioWare, CDPR, Blizzard, Bethesda, and the list goes on. And that list will continue to grow over the years just because, again, all of these companies are in the pursuit of making as much money as possible, and a lot of times that gets in the way of consumers enjoying themselves, unfortunately. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's important to remember that these video game companies are also corporations, and that corporate side is more often than not winning the battles with how these games are going to be monetized. Now with that said, we are once again discussing Blizzard for all of the wrong reasons. Indeed, there is more nonsense happening that we're going to be discussing today, which includes even more stuff about the misconduct allegations and how Activision Blizzard is handling that situation, or I should probably say not handling it at all, more on Diablo Immortal, and just some really baffling things coming from gaming journalists. We have the game director on Diablo Immortal liking some rather eye-opening tweets about the game, and surprise, surprise, they're tweets that essentially trash anybody criticizing Diablo Immortal and referring to you guys as people just doing this for hate clicks and people jumping on a bandwagon. Yes, I'm shit you not, that's what they view all of this outrage as. And then, last but not least, the topic that we're actually going to start off with here, it's the Blizzard whales. The whales that are absolutely dominating at Diablo Immortal, and it's honestly just absurd the amount of money that they are spending.
Which one of you spent more money?
I'm only $22,000 in New Zealand, that is, so that's actually not that much. Like,
okay.
Really.
How much is that in real money?
I haven't done the maths. I think it's somewhere around like 13,000 USD, maybe.
Oh, wait, that's it? Oh my God, I feel so much worse now. I've spent 20,000 American dollars, the real monies.
Oh,
you what? So obviously it is astonishing, insane that they're spending that type of money on this experience, but this is what mobile gaming is all about. This is what I've been preaching for the longest time. All it takes is 1,000 of these whales to make the bank for Blizzard. They don't need everybody spending $10 here and there. No, it's when you have individuals like this maxing out their characters, and it's just absolutely dominating. And what do I mean by dominating? Well, look no further than a PvP session with this same streamer. I believe he said he spent 20,000. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but regardless, he is whaled up, and this is evidence of that.
Here they come, here they come, here they come. Oh, yeah, they're womboing me. They're rising up. They're rising up. They're rising up. I earned that. I hope I got number 1. 44-7. This is a pretty good record.
Indeed, though, this is why I am so bothered by the fact that Blizzard has referred to the outrage surrounding Diablo Immortal and the pay-to-win accusations as misinformation and downplaying all of this and basically ignoring it. Like even just the other day, they showed off a bunch of stats in-game, but they've continued to neglect to answer the biggest problem of the game, which is the fact that it's a pay-to-win disaster that is being review bombed on every site possible. But what's interesting about all of this is the fact that the only statement that we've had is the fact that Wyatt Cheng, the game director, has called this misinformation. But if you look into his likes of this, he just continues to like a bunch of nonsense defenses of Diablo Immortal. We have this user saying, does Diablo Immortal have some monetization issues at the high end? Yes, 5-star gems are still a sore point. Does Diablo Immortal have all the issues that are filling up on social media? No, people are just taking low-hanging fruit yet again to hate on a Diablo game. Now, first off, there continues to be every single day more finds of how much of a pay-to-win mess this is. The latest one is the fact that there are 3 crests in the game. There's the rare crests, which you can earn, which are pretty much pointless, and then there are the legendary crests. Those crests guarantee you a legendary gem, and then you have the 0.05% chance of getting a 5-star gem. Again, you could spend thousands upon thousands of dollars and see nothing, and actually a streamer, one of the ones I showed earlier, has spent that much and has gotten basically nothing. Now the thing is, the rare crests are very easy to obtain. The legendary crests are not. If you're a free-to-play player, you have a chance of like getting 1 or 2 a month. It's just not enough. But even so, the legendary crests are in the store in a ton of bundles, and that is what Blizzard is encouraging people to buy. Blizzard is very, very scummy with all of this because there is a 3rd type of crest, and there is a different type of legendary crest in the store, only available with the premium currency that free-to-play players do not have any access to. It's called the Eternal Legendary Crest. What separates this from the legendary crest? Well, whatever you get inside of that dungeon run using that Eternal Legendary Crest, you can sell it on the market in the game, and then you can get some of the, I think it's the platinum currency, and you can use that platinum currency to buy things like legendary gems. So getting back to that original Twitter post, that is total nonsense that all of the outrage is totally overblown and the only issue is some 5-star gems. This is just so surface level and it's just nonsensical. But this user did go on, and Wyatt Cheng liked every single tweet of this. There are definitely some issues worth discussing, like the worthy bundle and how much power you can front load, but eventually that power will be overtaken by gear upgrades you can only acquire through leveling and playing. This is just, again, nonsensical. But when some of the top Reddit threads are basically, this game has a single bundle for $1, it's terrible, you know they're just there for hate clicks and riding the bandwagon, completely missing the real issues and ruining any meaningful discussion. You do not need to pay to play and can completely ignore every piece of monetization in the game. Do I need to show you the guy who's dominating with 44 kill streak and he's just totally wailed out the experience? There's also another user, there's a video going around of a guy who, I think he has like a 200 kill streak in one game. And again, this is only possible with the enormous amount of money that these people are spending. We're not talking 10,000. We're not talking 20,000. There's some people spending upwards 50, 60, 70, 80,000. Those are the reports out there. It's just ridiculous. You can't pay your way past level walls or buy dungeon runs or purchase endgame gear. You can experience everything the game has to offer for free. Sure, you can experience some of the story elements, but if you want to enjoy PvP, that is not possible. But again, I just want to remind everybody, the game director of Diablo Immortal liking this tweets is just indicative of how Blizzard feels about this entire situation, or at least this team on Diablo Immortal, and it's just ridiculous, and it deserves all of the pushback that it is getting. Now, it wasn't just users like this and Wyatt Cheng liking the tweets. We also had a Kotaku article which got a lot of pushback from players. It's titled, Diablo Immortal is far too good to be free. And when the topic of monetization comes up, these individuals give some very interesting takes. It is worth mentioning, one of these journalists is John Walker, who some of you may remember a couple years ago we talked on the channel because he's the journalist who called out Mike Pondsmith of Cyberpunk and pretty much tried to say that the universe he created was racist. Yes, John Walker tried telling that to the person of color creator of Cyberpunk, that his universe had racist tropes. It was an astonishing situation, but he is back with once again a very not great take. Now, the other journalist in this is Zach Sequin, I think that's his name, but he says, as we established, this is a game that I play when I'm watching YouTube or old Simpsons episodes, so all the anger around it has confused me. You don't have to spend 100,000 in this game, as that one YouTuber alleged, I promise. He continues, "This is all reminding me of how some folks will waste days or weeks playing games they hate, that they find broken or unfair or bad, and I just wish some people would realize that it's okay to hit a wall and move on. No, it's not okay if that wall is pay-gated, and the fact that it's there is to encourage you to spend money, and a lot of people have gambling addictions, and essentially when you have loot boxes thrown in your face and the possibility of getting that super 5-star legendary gem, which will help you dominate at PvP and other aspects of the game, that can be very enticing." But he continues, "Not everything needs to be min-maxed and perfected. You don't always need to get the best of the best and win the whole thing. You can just move on." And then John Walker says, "Yeah, it's like a Happy Meal toy that's surprisingly decent. You're not going to play with it forever, but you didn't throw it out that same day. And yet there are people reading this who will leave angry comments below saying we are shills or ruining gaming. I don't think you're ruining gamings with these remarks, but I think it's extremely ignorant to just say that this is about winning, when in reality, if you actually want to be competitive, you're going to have to cough up cash." Anyway, what is next for Diablo Immortal is a release in China. That is something that's supposed to be happening, I believe, the next week, although there are now questions about that as NetEase has removed advertising from their website for the game's launch, and there also were posts from their Weibo account for Diablo Immortal banned, so maybe there's some problems happening there. Do wonder if maybe that's connected to the monetization, but hey, this is why Diablo Immortal even came to be. It's for that Chinese audience and the revenue that they would gain from that. But regardless, there's also some other things. I did find Red Shirt Guy from BlizzCon 2018 reacted saying, "Diablo Immortal review, it met my expectations, I uninstalled it. Little did we know," actually I think we all kind of knew it, "this man was spitting facts all the way back in 2018. We're just seeing it all unfold in front of our eyes here in 2022. And then there's been a boatload of tweets like this: "Diablo 4 is happening, so here's your reminder that Blizzard has been a routine disappointment for years, and that you should temper your expectations. Diablo Immortal just came out and was a disaster. Let's not kid ourselves about their ability to F this up." Indeed, truer words have not been said. And I thought this was kind of funny enough to share, and it's the fact that players continue to troll Blizzard in just hilarious ways, such as a $25 Rift simulator. Somebody has created one of these, and you can see how much it'll cost you to earn a 5-star legendary gem. For myself, it only took $11,000, so yeah, that's how much I would have to spend to get a 5-star gem. I've seen people going up to 18,000, some people even having some better luck. Maybe I should, try a lottery ticket. Or not. But that is where we stand with Diablo Immortal. Blizzard continues to be silent, and it's going to be great in the next coming months and years. We'll be doing this again with the next mobile Blizzard experiences to be. I think there's a Warcraft mobile game coming sometime soon. I'm sure it'll be pay to win, and I'm sure Blizzard will once again be silent, because the only time they talk about monetization, as we discussed earlier on in this video, is when it could positively affect them. Next though, we move on to another major topic for this video, and that is the culture of Blizzard. This is something that has come under fire in the last couple of years following numerous lawsuits, numerous executive departures, and just some downright horrifying allegations that have been made against the company. And we've also seen many of the company's past executives, whether that be J. Allen Brack, Mike Morhaime, Bobby Kotick, and all these people saying, "Oh, we're so sorry that we didn't do anything for well over a decade," about a horrible culture of harassment, misconduct, and just so much more. Now, while there haven't been any major updates about this situation for a while, there have been some legal issues, but we did get Activision Blizzard releasing a statement saying that they have found no evidence of widespread misconduct of Activision Blizzard. Yeah, they investigated themselves and found that they did nothing wrong. Because yes, we're certainly going to take their word for it. So, for those who have not been following this story or keeping up to date, last year Activision Blizzard was sued by the state of California following an investigation into how the company conducted themselves. This was kind of something that set off a chain reaction in which just so much more came about and was reported, but essentially there were hundreds of alleged instances of serious misconduct that Activision Blizzard leadership ignored and or took part in for years. One specific instance had an employee take their own life following the horrendous harassment they were receiving. The company was accused of enabling a pervasive frat boy culture that encouraged behavior such as cube crawls, where male employees would get drunk and then inappropriately touch and harass female coworkers at their desks. Blizzard lead developers had a Bill Cosby room at BlizzCon, which was yet another indictment on the company's terrible culture more than anything else. Activision Blizzard was accused of shredding evidence once they were sued by the state of California. Blizzard's first female co-head, Jen O'Neill, allegedly left the company just about a month after taking the role, as she claimed she had been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against. Dan Bunting, co-head of Activision's Treyarch studio, was accused by a female employee of that type of harassing her in 2017 after a night of drinking. Activision's own HR and supervisors investigated in 2019 and recommended that he be fired. Instead, what happened was Bobby Kotick intervened to keep him. Kotick believed counseling was a more suitable punishment. After the Wall Street Journal reached out to Dan Bunting about this incident, he departed from the company. Kotick himself was accused of inappropriate behavior and additionally was exposed for posing as a female executive and writing a letter which dismissed and basically trashed the misconduct allegations. He would never publicly admit to writing the letter, but following the public and Blizzard staff negative reception of that statement, he came out with his own statement saying the letter was tone deaf and wrong and they were sorry. This is just a surface level overview of that disaster. There's honestly just so much more, but anyway, the other day Activision Blizzard released a statement saying they investigated themselves and found they had done nothing wrong. There was no widespread misconduct. The real issue was the media. Yeah, insert shocked Pikachu face. Least surprising update ever, almost less surprising than Bobby Kotick having trouble dating because everyone hates him. But now getting into this PC Gamer article, they have a deep dive into Activision Blizzard's recent statement of them finding no evidence of widespread misconduct. And that's exactly, they found no evidence of systemic gender-based misconduct at the company, or that Activision Blizzard management intentionally ignored or attempted to downplay incidents of harassment at the company when they occurred. The conclusion was shared by the company's board of directors in a June 16 filing with the US SEC. It begins by stating that the allegations in media and legal filings about our company were as distressing to us as they were to all of you, even though Bobby Kotick himself took part in it, and obliquely acknowledges that there have been some instances of workplace misconduct. The filing also says, however, that individual experience does not necessarily reflect the larger picture, even though a shit ton of lead developers and executives at Blizzard were specifically mentioned of taking part in this behavior, and many of them were fired over this, including J. Allen Brack, the former Blizzard president. He was pretty much the executive that was thrown to the fire, the one thrown to the wolves over this entire ordeal, even though it goes much further up the chain, and Bobby Kotick should have been fired over this whole ordeal. But anyway, getting back to this report from PC Gamer, this points at progressively stronger, more decisive, coordinated steps it has taken, including leadership changes to address shortcomings and better reflect the diversity of its audience. And yet the company says that contrary to many of the allegations, there's no evidence to suggest that Activision Blizzard senior executives ever intentionally ignored or attempted to downplay the instances of gender that occurred and were reported. Okay, certainly believe that. The filing also states that media criticism of the company's executives was found to be without merit, and that while there are some substantiated instances of gender there's no evidence of that type of behavior, discrimination, or retaliation were ever a systemic issue at Activision Blizzard, because the hundreds of instances that were reported are not a systemic issue. Okay. Parallel to this investigation, Activision Blizzard said it had a former U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission chairman, Gilbert Caceres, review data on investigative reports of gender in the U.S. between September 1st, 2016 and December 31st, 2021. Based on his review, Caceres said there is no widespread blah 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 at Activision Blizzard, and claims that the level of misconduct experienced by employees is comparatively low for a company of that size. From there, the filing lists individual changes Activision Blizzard has made in recent years to improve conditions for employees, such as increasing the size of its ethics and compliance team, investing in more training, improving transparency and diversity in pay, and implementing new drug and alcohol policies for company events. But then it swerves into a frankly bizarre bit of self-defense, pointing the finger at the media as the real cause of its problems. It must be said that the company has been subject to an unrelenting barrage of media criticism that attempts to paint the entire company and many innocent employees with the stain of a very small portion of our employee population who engaged in bad behavior and were disciplined for it, the filing says. So that is Activision Blizzard's statement about them not being found guilty of doing anything wrong. It certainly sounds like they're admitting some guilt there, but they don't want to say it was widespread because that could be damning for them. So indeed, Activision Blizzard investigated themselves and found, you know, some shit happens every once in a while, but they're good to go. I mean, that's basically what this statement says. They bitch about the media, and they also bitch about the California agency that investigated themselves, saying that this was all made for the press, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. But hey, we're getting very close to hopefully the point where Bobby Kotick is no longer at Activision Blizzard, and I'm telling you, I know there's some people that are very critical of Microsoft, and they have questions about how they're going to run Activision Blizzard, but I would much rather have that management taking over Activision Blizzard and their IP than this company and what they're made up of right now, because it has been a disaster this last number of years. And this company that a lot of us fell in love with years ago, it's just been tarnished. I mean, it was always broken in many ways, as has been detailed in these allegations, especially in this California lawsuit. And let me clarify, I'm only referring to the Blizzard side, because Activision has always been horse manure. That's the best way I can put it. But yes, indeed, this is something I say about a lot of these AAA gaming companies, and I said this before. The Blizzard of old is no more, and the Blizzard to be, we'll see what happens. I'm encouraged by what Diablo 4 looks like right now, but this Diablo Immortal situation just continues to make me demoralized about the future of this franchise and this future of this company. Anyway, that is where I'm going to leave things. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, or if you found any informative value. Make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always down in the description below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I do not always get into video form, so do make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of discussion on games. And again, thank you for joining. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.